Hey everyone. If you've been to my channel before, welcome back. And if you're new, my name is Ross. I'm an intuitive counselor, and I love helping women and men who are tired of living their life for others and feel ready to put themselves first. Self-love, what the heck is it? And the truth is that this really is a big question. And when I reflect on my own journey of healing and growth, it was something that I really couldn't get my head around. It was something that was very far off in the distance. And even though it was something that I wanted to embody, it was something that I could not really grasp. And looking back, I think I really have some understanding around why that is and why that was. And it came back to the dynamic that was playing out in my relationships and the origin of that dynamic. And that dynamic goes back to my early childhood when I did anything and everything to get love from my caregivers and then anyone else who was in a role of authority going forward, including friends. And essentially, what that came down to was this question of what do I need to do in order to get more love? And also, what parts of myself do I need to hide in order to get more love? And so, what that translates into is this idea of giving away or giving up this ability to prioritize yourself and instead prioritizing everyone around you before meeting your needs. And so it's like the needs of others are more important than your own individual needs. Now, that makes a lot of sense because we need to have our needs met as children, and we require or depend on those around us to take care of us. We can't necessarily do it on our own. And so this disconnection from self-love is the byproduct of a template that was created long ago. And so let's try and break down self-love into some bite-sized pieces, and we probably won't cover all of it, but just to get this conversation started. When I think of self-love, I think of self-care. So the things we do for ourselves is a very important part of self-love. I also think of self-talk. So the way that we speak to ourselves. Is our inner critic um, running the show, or is this loving voice running a narrative that is counter to the inner critic's voice? Then boundaries. Are you able to say no and be a good friend to yourself? Are you able to say yes to what you need versus saying yes to what someone else needs? And that's exactly what boundaries are, is that idea of what is it you want and what is it you don't want. And boundaries is, I'm definitely going to do a video on boundaries in the future, and it's definitely a big conversation. Are you making aligned choices and actions? So in other words, do you take care of what you want to do? And is that in alignment with your values and your purpose and your way of being in the world? And are you taking aligned actions? In other words, if you are saying yes to something, and you're going to do that thing, does it feel good to you? Does it feel nurturing to you? And then are you prioritizing your needs over the needs of others? And do you even know what it is that you need? And that is an important piece. Like if we don't know our needs, and needs and values tend to be, I see them as being similar. If we don't know what we need, how can we possibly speak up? And same with boundaries. If we don't know what we stand for, how can we set a boundary? And so all of these things, and there's many more areas, this is just some. These are some of the areas where we can start to take actions and start to play with this idea of reconnecting to ourselves, reconnecting to the you that knows the importance of all of these areas. And so, as an example, you could start with self-talk and just really become aware of the way that you speak to yourself. Become aware of this inner critic and how it treats you, and start to do some work around where did this voice originate? Where did these voices come from? And often It goes back to the way that we were spoken to. And this is the work. This is the path. And when I think of self-love, for me, I said it was a pretty foreign concept, and it was definitely on the radar for a long time, but it wasn't until 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, when I had a relationship end. And in the situation, I ended up staying 9 months after the relationship ended. And what I did was I took the master bedroom for myself and I started to take actions that were 100% focused on me for, I think, for the first time. And things like really focusing on balancing my budget and my books and buying new bedding and meditating and things that I had done before, but in a different way. And when I look back now and I look at my self-care practice now, I can see that that was the origin of the strength that I have now in terms of my morning practice and the things I do for myself. And like as an example, I got up at 4 a.m. this morning to go to the gym. And I do that because that creates the foundation for my day. I couldn't imagine having done that 5, 6 years ago. I just didn't have the ability. I was too tired. I wasn't prioritizing that. And I know that choice creates such a strong foundation for my day. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I'll share one more antidote that I really think is helpful. And there was a fellow I heard, I think I even wrote a blog post about this a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And this fellow on Instagram, he clarified like what is self-love? And the definition he gave was self-love is the end result of all the actions that we take for ourselves. It's how we feel after we've taken all those actions. And for me, I found that really helpful and I was able to quantify that in a more meaningful way. So thank you for watching. I hope that you found this video helpful in some way. If you like the content, please like the video and also consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you have a topic or question that you'd like me to cover in the future, please drop that into the comments because I love responding to comments and suggestions. If you are interested in my work, you can go to my website, which is in the notes, and just sending you unconditional love and look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.